Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Tanisha, and I'm the host of the Let's Talk About It series. I trust your Thursday morning is going well. Usually on this Let's Talk About It series, we have the conversation on Sundays with Eric, but I have a special guest with me today. His name is Jermaine. He's going to introduce himself, and then we can just go right in the conversation. The topic or the theme for today is Let's Talk About It, leading by example. Jermaine, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much, Tanisha, for having me on this morning. Welcome to all our viewers. My name is Jermaine Lewis. I live here in Ajax, Ontario, Canada. I am originally from Jamaica. Married to my wife Simone. We have three beautiful boys, one young adult, and two toddlers. Who keeps us very busy. You know, we're doing it by God's grace.
Amen.
Yeah, it's a
By
pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm hoping that we can share some values to our to our followers and our listeners, right?
That's our hope, right? On this
Yes.
page, I tend to inspire, educate, and also help others. And yes, sometimes entertain people to live their best life. So,
Yes.
Jermaine, I have a series of questions for you. You are a father and a proud father of three boys, and you have your wonderful wife, Sim Sim or Simone, right? And how did I get to know Jermaine right here in this online business? I think the first time we chatted up, we talked for hours. I'm like, I seem like I know you, you know.
Right.
That's how Jamaicans are, right? We just connect and just be chatting for hours. But welcome. Thank you for gracing my show today. My first question for you, Jermaine, how has running this business impacted your family's well-being on a whole?
Wow. Wow. That's a great question. How has it impacted my family's well-being? Very, very good. I have to say, very good. It has it has allowed myself and my wife, because I shared this yesterday. I was on another go live, and I shared this yesterday that my wife and I, we were on different levels, right, when it comes to personal development and what we want, right. Our goals was not kind of aligned, right. And what this business has done, for us, is kind of like unite us, as it comes to our, what is it we want for a family, what is it we want for our kids. We're able now to actually sit down and actually put pen to paper and say, okay, this is where we want, this is where we are, this is the direction our life was heading in. How can we correct that, right. And so that business has allowed us now to have conversations about what is it we want for a family, and for the future, right. And it's interesting, right, because like, I work outside the home and I come home, and as soon as I come home, my wife wants to know right away, like, what happened in the business today, right. So that definitely has
Mhm.
strengthened us as a family. So
That's amazing. The Bible says we're both Christians. The Bible says, can two walk together unless they're in agreement?
mm,
And the fact that, you started to develop yourself. And as your wife started to see that, then eventually she wanted to be a part of that. And now you guys are not just walking together as husband and wife and parents, but now business partner. So there's nothing that you both cannot achieve when you're united, right? And that's scriptural. On to the next questions. What advice do you have for fathers who are juggling so many things, but yet they don't have the time really to start an online business? It could be that, I'm too shy or I'm whatever. What advice do you have for fathers? You're a hardworking dad. You have your three sons. You have your wife, not your three wife. You only have your one wife.
don't get me in trouble now.
Had to fix that. I'm like, no, no, no. It's one wife, Simone, and his three sons. What advice do you have for dads out there, especially dads that look like us, Jermaine,
Mhm.
to think beyond the status quo? What advice do you have?
Wow, that's a great question, because as you said, like, I run a busy household, but for me, everything centers around my why. Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? And I think that, for fathers out there who are watching, who may be thinking that, they're too busy, working multiple jobs, right, or they don't have the time, or they don't have the income, right. Those are just excuses, right, and we can all justify all of those things, right. But I think that if we really centered on and our why. What is it that we want for our family? Even bigger than that, what do we want for our children, for our children's children, right? So for me, having a strong why, which is my family, and everything that I do is surrounded, is around them, right? And so that was what kind of push me, to get out of my comfort zone, right? To say, hey, I'm working, multiple jobs, right? And it's just not working, right? And something needed to change, because believe it or not, like, our kids are watching us, right? And whatever we're do, they're going to think that's what is okay, that's what they should do too, right? And it's already so hard enough living in today's economy. I can't even begin to imagine a couple years in the future, when my kids become adults, what it's going to be like, right? Is it going to be you depending on a job to survive, kind of thing, right? So just having that strong why, and just wanting a desire to leave a legacy for my kids, that kind of pushed me to look for something. And so my advice to families, dads especially, that looks like myself, is to figure out what is it, like, if you're doing something and it's not working for your family, you know go back to your why. Why am I doing this, right? Because if we're doing something and it's not working, and then we continue to do that thing, right? Yeah, I mean, to me, it just doesn't make any sense, right?
Makes
So
sense.
I believe if you have a strong why, and you need that too, right? Because in business, you're going to have challenges, right? You're going to have the up times, you're going to have the low times. But I believe that if you have your a strong why, you will always fall back on that, and that will encourage you to continue to move forward.
Awesome. I love that. You touch on leading by example. I believe that is so important,
Yeah.
right? I'm a mother of two, and yes, there's no male figure in my home, but it's my desire for my kids that when I was growing up, is that you're seen and you're not heard. Do what I say, not what I do,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But I want to change that philosophy in my home where I'm telling my kids and I'm teaching them by not only by saying it, by doing it
Yes.
so that they can see. So moving on about thinking about the future.
I just want to add too, like,
Okay.
sometimes we can get so caught up in our present situation too, right? We look at ourselves, and we think we can achieve certain things, you know and so what I always like to encourage people to do is actually don't look at themselves in their present situation,
Mm,
but develop the ability to kind of see yourself in the future, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. See yourself living the ideal life, right? Don't just think about this, your current situation, because your current situation does not have to define you, right? So if you can see yourself, having a goal, having a dream, traveling, living the life that you wish, having the things, leaving that legacy for your kids, like, begin to see yourself doing that, then I think it will inspire you to take the necessary actions that is required.
I love how you're touching on not just today or next year, but down the road.
Hmm.
And in this business, it's really all about legacy, right?
Yes.
Any person who starts a regular brick and mortar business and they have children is like, how could they make an impact, not just in their generation, but that of their children?
Hmm.
That even six generation deep, their grandkids are still spending grandparents' money, right?
Yes.
And that is
Yes.
my hope for me and my boys, and even beyond my boys.
Yes.
Okay, Jermaine, looking 10 to 25 years down the road, when you're much older, 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 which one of your sons do you see running your business? This online business here. Which one of the three do you see running it?
Oh man, I don't want to play favorites, because I love all of my kids, equally and stuff like that, So, I think it's more about. Sorry about that.
No
I think
problem.
it's more about. Sorry, I think it's more about just leading by example, going back to that whole thing, right? So instead of, like, which one, my hope or my goal is that all three of my kids will follow my example, right? And so this business would be something that far outlives me, like, long after I'm gone. My children would say, my
That
dad started this, right? And my dad left us this, right? And this is something that we're gonna continue to
yes.
to 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 into the future, right? Even for their children and for their children's children, right? The whole goal is to to break the whole gap of just like, this scarcity mindset kind of thing, right? It's somebody starting it, right? And so even if I don't finish, if my kids can take the baton and just kind of like carry that into, because my dad has kind of laid the foundation, and so we feel like, as a tribute to it, we owe it to him to carry that on, even if it's just for that purpose, definitely.
Awesome. I was joking when I said which one, because the idea the idea though is that you're building something that you can
Yes.
pass down.
Yes.
And there are not many online businesses that allows you to do that.
Yes.
Right? And a lot of us growing up is like you go to university, you get a 9 to 5, you work, you retire, and then
Yeah.
you live life after you retire. And we're not saying that there's anything wrong with a 9 to 5. I currently am employed as an accountant, right? And I'm grateful for my 9 to 5. But when I'm thinking down the road and thinking about generations, I had to realize that in 9 to 5, even though I may have some a little amount of pension, that will not give my great 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 grandkids
Yeah.
something to draw from. So that's the idea there.
And
So
that's the
go
beauty about this business too. It's just the ability to that, you can have a job and you can still do it because of the flexibility, because of the automation, right? It
Mhm.
allows you to, to multitask, so to speak. So, for example, I still work a 9 to 5 job as well, right? But the system, makes it so easy for me, that I'm able to do the business and to work a job at the same time, right? While holding
Awesome.
down a busy household, right? So
That's it,
yeah.
right? Is again, it all boils down to your why. Why are
Yes.
you doing this? So therefore, there's no excuses when you
Yes.
when your why is strong. I put a statement here. Anything is possible in the online space. And before I was skeptical until I'm a part of this online business system. And when I saw people retiring at 40, like 45, 44, 41, looking like me, people buying their home last year and it's 50% paid down, and
Yes.
there's so many other stories about this online business. I can honestly say anything is possible in the online space when you get plugged into the right system.
When you're that's and the system is key, and it's you touched on that, the retirement, because just within our community, because
Mhm.
we're a community inside the global community, but
Yes.
in our small community, 7 people last year, they went live, and shared their story, and at the end of it they shouted, "I'm boss free," right?
Yes.
And these
Yes.
are these are people in their mid, early 40s, mid 40s, 50s, being able to retire. The goal this year is to have 50 people actually go live and shout, "I'm boss free," and my goal is
Yes.
to be among that 50, right? At 40 years old, retired. Wouldn't that be awesome, right?
That would be awesome.
Right.
That's great. Awesome. Jermaine, what can you tell anyone about our webinar and why we think that they should register on either of the links to get started?
Yesterday I mentioned on another go live that, like, it's just a whole level of increase in your awareness, right? Because we're limited by what we
See.
by what we know,
Mhm.
right? Whatever we know right now, gets us only so far, right? So just to increase your level of awareness, right? Because what we do not know can hurt us, right? And so I was sharing giving the example of, what if this online business, we talk about it, weekly. We come on and we invite people to just sign up for the webinar, get the information, do with it whatever you want to do with it after the fact. At least now you're in the know, right? And it's so easy. It's so, it costs you nothing, right? So Tanisha's website is there. My website is www.jermainerlewis.com. We host these live webinars every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're too busy, you can't catch it at that time. We always have the most recent replays up. So just go watch it. Because it doesn't cost you anything, right?
That's it. It doesn't cost you anything. Jermaine,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time. And listen, guys, anything is possible in the online space when you get plugged in to the right online business system. And we can say without a shadow of a doubt that we have the best system because we have the proof of it. So we're
Yes.
hoping that you'll click on any of our links and register to watch the webinar. As Jermaine say, there's no excuse. And once you have a solid why, that's when you know you'll take action. So we hope that you'll find that why and dig deep and kick the excuses to the curb and do something that could really transform the lives of not only yourself, but also your next generation. Take care, God bless, and have a wonderful day.
Take care,
Ciao.
everyone. Take care. Bye bye now.